Good evening, folks. Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. It's the first starting 11 prediction of 23-24. It's Flag Day tomorrow at Celtic Park. We're playing Ross County, and I cannot wait to get back to proper competitive football. The summer feels like it's went on for months and months. There's been so much change at the club. Brendan Rodgers is back. It's his first competitive league match and his second spell as the Celtic manager. The team is different. We might only have lost Jota in terms of a main starter from last season, but there's no doubt the team has a different look and feel already. We've made some new signings, not enough new signings for some people, and we'll talk about that over the course of this weekend when we evaluate the squad and decide whether at this point we think it's stronger or weaker than last season. I think that debate is only going one way at the minute, but we've still got plenty of time. But that aside, I'm just looking forward to getting back to proper football at Celtic Park tomorrow. Hopefully it's a great atmosphere. Flag days are usually really special. I hope that anybody that comes to the game tomorrow that has any reservations about Brendan Rodgers being back just backs the team 100%. That's the most important thing this season. And I think if we can create a brilliant atmosphere in that stadium, like we have done in the last two seasons, you see how special that is and how big a force it is for the team in the pitch. So that's what I hope to see tomorrow from the stands. We're here to talk about the starting 11, what Brendan Rodgers' first League 11 is going to look like in his second spell in charge, but we're also going to touch on some season predictions. The other night there, we filmed a season prediction video, but we had some technical difficulties. Chris was on, he had some internet challenges, and then we had problems with the file at the end, so I'm going to put up on the screen now myself, Chris and Callum's season predictions. Here are the categories we had: Player of the Year, top goal scorer, best signing, under the radar, that replaced over performer from last season. We had Young Player of the Year. We asked the guys who they think would get relegated for the Cinch Premiership this season, and then who they thought would finish in the top six. So I'm not going to run through each of everybody's choices. If you want to, you can pause the video here and look through them. I'll run through mine. I went for Carter Vickers for Player of the Year. I got Kyogo for Player of the Year last season and top goal scorer, so I wanted to change it up. I think Carter Vickers was there or thereabouts last season because of his consistency, and I just think if we have a big season or a better season in Europe, maybe not a big season, but if we have a better season in Europe, Carter Vickers is going to be a big part of that. He's so consistent, he's a rock in the defence, and whoever plays with him always looks so comfortable. He calms the whole back four, and I think it's going to be interesting to see who partners him as we move into this season under Brendan Rodgers. A lot of speculation about Carl Starfelt's future, which we'll touch on in a minute, but I went for Carter Vickers for Player of the Year. Kyogo, top goal scorer. I think the best signing will be Odin Holm. Brilliant. I was impressed with him the other night. How much game time will he get? We don't know at this stage. It's really competitive in that midfield area. But I think if he does get the game time, we'll see what a good player is, and I've backed him to be the best signing this season. Under the radar, I've gone Bernabei, not because I think he's going to displace Taylor. I certainly don't think he should do that, but I think staying wide, which I think will be asked more of the fullbacks under Rodgers than it was under Postecoglou, will benefit him. He's looked better in pre-season. It is his second season. We know he had huge difficulties on and off the pitch in his first season at the club, coming from Argentina, but I think he'll be more settled, and I hope he'll be more settled this season. And I think he might surprise a few people when he does get minutes, but as I say, I don't expect him to become first choice, but I think he'll be the under the radar player this season. In terms of relegation, Young Player of the Year, by the way, I went home as well, because if he gets the minutes, I think he'll be the standout. 20 years of age, just turning 21, a lot of potential. Relegated, I've went for Dundee, and for top six, it picks itself almost in terms of Aberdeen, Hibs and Hearts fighting out for third, fourth and fifth. And that sixth place team, it could be anybody: Motherwell, Kilmarnock, St Mirren. I don't really see many of the others competing, but you never know, because we've seen in recent seasons that the league has almost split into 3 separate groups as we move through it, where you've got the top of the league, then you've got the sort of competing for European places, top 6, and then a big massive gap to the bottom 6, and a big scrap for relegation like we've seen last season. So I think it could be any one of 4 or 5 teams to make it into the top 6, but we'll just need to wait and see how that plays out. So that's it for the season predictions. Apologies you didn't get the full length video. We'll hope to bring you something close to that in the next few weeks if we get the chance. But we're here to talk about tomorrow's game against Ross County. Ross County were one of those teams fighting relegation last season. They only survived by the skin of their teeth in that playoff against Partick Thistle to keep their place in the Premiership. They come to Celtic Park tomorrow, as I say, on Flag Day. Always a brilliant occasion, but it's the first chance the team have got to go and show what they're all about, and there will be some question marks about what the differences are between the style of play of Rodgers and Postecoglou, and I think everybody will be keen to see how the new signings fit in when they get minutes, how many debutants is there going to be tomorrow. We'll cover that as well, but I think it's a big chance for the team to open up the campaign and go and show everybody why we're the best team in the country. Hopefully we can get a good performance, 3 points on the board and a few goals as well, and get the season off to a flying start. So let's get to the team. We will start in goals as we always do in these starting 11 predictions. I think it will be Joe Hart, Siegrist and Scott Bain got a half each on Tuesday night against Bilbao. I think Hart will definitely come back in there. At right back, we know goalkeepers something we need to look at, by the way. We've covered that at length. Be interesting to see if there's any developments in that between now and the end of the window. Right back, I'm going with Tomoki Iwata. Now, I hope Brendan Rodgers goes with Anthony Ralston, but I've just got this sneaky feeling that he's going to put Iwata in there. He's played a few games there, and I don't know where Ralston's fitness is at, given that he was injured a couple of weeks back as well. So I'm going to go with Iwata. The big boost, perhaps the biggest boost on this team sheet, is that Carter Vickers is back available. He played the first half on Tuesday, came through it unscathed. I think that's enough for him to go and start this game. I said it earlier, he's so vital for us, so consistent, calms everybody in that back four, and I expect him to start tomorrow. And he might have to calm Mike Narovsky because it will be his debut, I think. I think the speculation around Starfelt and the fact that we've spent a healthy fee, £4 million plus to bring Navrojki in, means that he's the player that Brendan Rodgers wants to partner Carter Vickers. We'll see what happens with the speculation around Starfelt's future, but he has been linked away. Again, hopefully if he does go and there's a deal there, it's a good deal for the club. He's been incredibly consistent. I think Carol Starfelt, we went on this journey with him where people were really doubting him early in his career after his debut at Tynecastle, but he came full circle for me, and that partnership he still has with Carter Vickers has never been beaten in a league match where they've started together. So that's interesting if it is going to be broken up. Listen, it might be Starfelt that starts tomorrow, but I just feel with this speculation about his future that Navrojki is the long-term replacement, and that's who Brendan Rodgers will want to bed in alongside Carter Vickers. And I've just went with him, toss a coin to get the nod tomorrow. Left back Greg Taylor, in midfield Callum McGregor leading the team out. Rio Hatate and Matt O'Reilly, I think, will complete that three. I've mentioned Odin Holm already. David Turnbull was excellent in the second half. He'll be one looking for a resurgence under Brendan Rodgers. Maybe a different style of build-up, maybe a slightly slower form of build-up could suit David Turnbull. Maybe playing in that 10 role. Whether this is going to be the shape, by the way, if it's going to be 4-3-3 or more of a 4-2-3-1, that is going to be seen. I think we were more like 4-2-3-1 in the second half on Tuesday night, and we were much better in the second half. How much of that is down to the sort of formation and the shape, I don't know, but there was no doubt some really good individual performances in that second half, Holm and Turnbull amongst them. So we've got plenty of options in midfield, but there's no doubt for me that three is the first choice three and the best three at the minute. The front three, We've obviously lost Jota, who was a key man in the wide areas for us. I think Liel Abada will start on the right-hand side tomorrow. I think Dyson Maeda will play on the left, and I think the top scorer and player of the year for last season, Kyogo Furuhashi, will play through the middle. Liel Abada looked bright in a few spells in pre-season. He played from the left-hand side on Tuesday night, which I thought was interesting. We didn't see that a lot under Postecoglou, but whether we'll see it a lot under whether we'll see it a lot under Rodgers, that's going to take a bit of getting used to. Whether we'll see it a lot under Rodgers, that's to be decided. But he's looked bright, Abada. I think Dyson Maeda's looked good. I thought he was really good in the first half the other night. His energy and his drive, we know all his qualities. The big question for Dyson Maeda is, and people's doubts about him when Rodgers came in were, how is he going to fit in a Rodgers team? The other question is, can Brendan Rodgers add something to his game in terms of his ability to develop players, his one-on-one coaching, and the importance of wide players in his team? Can he add something to Dyson Maeda's game? I think goals is the thing that he has to add. Whether or not he's got that composure in his locker that he needs to get more goals, I don't know, but he's probably at that stage in his career where he's not a young player anymore, but he's not old either. He's in that middle stage of his career where I think someone like Brendan Rodgers can still develop him and can still add something to his game, whether it's a different tactical idea, or, as I say, some coaching tweaks and try and bring another level out of him. So I think it's an interesting season for Dyson Maeda, and he'll start on the left-hand side. And despite the fact that O was impressive off the bench on Tuesday, there is no doubt it'll be Kyogo through the middle. 30 goals last season, 34 goals in fact in all competitions. Incredible. Again, the interesting thing watching Kyogo this season will be how much does the Rodgers style suit him, because we know the Ange style suited him down to a T. But he's got so much quality, Kyogo, and again, some flashes in pre-season of that brilliance as well. So hopefully another massive season for him. It's a huge boost for us that he signed that new contract in the summer. He is at that peak stage of his career, and if we can get him for his peak years, we're in for a special ride. It's been brilliant already. Over 50 odd goals in his first 2 seasons at the club. And if we can play in a similar attacking vein this season with the tweaks that Rodgers introduces, there's no doubt Kyogo can rack up even more goals this campaign as well. So there you go. That is the first starting 11 of the second Brendan Rodgers era at Celtic. As I say, I can't wait to get to the game tomorrow, soak in the atmosphere, and get ready for another season of watching Celtic. Like this video, comment with your own thoughts on the team below. Who do you think will start in the key positions that there's question marks over? Right back, centre half, do you think there's any debate about the midfield three? And what do you think the shape will be? Will it be 4-2-3-1, as we saw in Rodgers' first spell? Please don't forget to subscribe below. We are back tomorrow with all of the full-time content as normal, and we'll have the post-match pint from Malone's as well. Wherever you're watching the game, enjoy it, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you.